So, welcome to a new Slashie Midnight coding session. I have been working for some time now on adding these maps to Emerald Woods. The levels in, or the world in Emerald Woods is generated procedurally, so the maps should be generated procedurally as well. And we have this team on Emerald Woods that it's a 1920, 1930 corporation used to have the headquarters here. So right now it looks extremely computer generated. Doesn't look like from that era. So I have been researching a little bit, taking a look at some references, and finally we want something like this, right? We want to change it so that it looks more like something that was printed in a paper, um, something like this maybe. And then I landed into this, which I think is a very good compromise between. I mean, it looks great. It looks like a reference card, like I don't know how to call it. Like a hard paper card, and we can try to do something like this in the game. So this is the goal. As always, when we're doing procedural generation, I believe you gotta have a something to aim for, even if you don't get close. And this is where we are now. So right now, the process of generating these maps is we are directly taking a look at the different types of cells in the level, and we are only taking the base terrain. And we are also taking some metadata, which is the actual the buildings. So the buildings are not rendered in the terrain data, but actually they are icons that are placed on top. And I believe we gotta do something like a hybrid approach, right? Of this, if we want to approach this idea, I'm going to close these two because actually what we want is this. And if you see here, the forest here are represented by some circles, bigger circles, smaller circles. We can always add some variety, but initially let's have a single circle and clusters of those circles representing the forest. And then there are places with no uh, vegetation at all, nothing at all. And it's also rendered into, this paper background. So as always, the idea is to do something incremental. We're going to change the normal map renderer to do something completely different. So for starters, we're not going to be drawing raster data. That's the main difference. We're not going to be creating this texture of uh, like replicating the in-memory representation of the level directly. We're not going to do that. We're instead going to use the vegetation. So our first approach is going to be super simple. I'm going to go to the pixel editor. I'm going to go to the UI16 tile set, and then I'm going to um, create a circle. So I am keeping, this is the icon for the Genko stations, and I'm going to create something very simple. This is going to be a representation of a tree. So this is a 16 by 16 grid, and this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's uneven. It's not going to be centerable, or no, it's not going to be centerable. Let's add another um, thing, and let's see how this looks. So this is a hollow circle. I'm gonna center it a little bit more in here. It's probably the center. Yeah, gonna save. And I'm going to initialize this map renderer with, I'm going to keep these parameters, but I'm going to need another texture, and that's for the forest, or yeah, forest stamp. Um, I wonder where's the background for the entire graphic. I'm going to change this so that we're going to fill this with with a kind of paper color. So we're going to use the colors from the palette that we already have, which is already loaded here in the tile editor, in the pixel art editor. Let's look again at the reference. It's, yeah, let's pick the one that matches more. So I'm going to just take a fragment of this and put it here, and then try uh, some of these. I believe probably this one. Let's see if it works. It's a bit light. We need something a little bit more dull. This is too bright. Um, Probably this. Actually, the first one is closer. Yeah, but it's more like gray actually. It's closer to gray than it is to probably this. Yeah, this one. Yeah, let's use this one. So we're going to get the HTML, or well, actually the hexadecimal code for this, and it's let's just use some tool that we can convert that. So hexa to RGB, yeah, and the color is actually there's gonna be a way to get that info from here from graphic scale. Yeah, oh, here it is. Okay, now I need to go all the way there. So we have E4D2AA. Let's yeah, that should be it. E4D2AA. E4D2AA. Yeah, and the other number H. Yeah, that's hexadecimal. Okay, so that's great. So we're going to fill the entire background with that color using the graphics object from Pixie. What's happening here? 0, 0, all the width and height. So that's going to be the background. And then we are no longer going to do this. What we're going to do is we are going to get the vegetation that is there. So plant. Level dot get plant at x dot y. And the first thing we're going to do, we're going to add some cap at some point. But for now, let's just say something. If there's a plant, or if there's no plant, then continue. But if there's a plant, then draw a stamp there. And yeah, we already have some logic for that we are using for the buildings, for the station, for the Genko station. So we're going to redo that for the plants. Just put here this. So we need a new icon, and we're going to use the tree stamp. Yeah, forest stamp. Okay, and the position of that's going to be x times zoom, and for y, well, the same, y times zoom is going to be anchored in the middle, and we need the render texture to be created first. So we're going to create that here. Let's move that to here so that we can have this. Yeah, as I mentioned, this is incremental, so we're probably going to improve the background at some point. Just want to see how this looks. We're going to keep this because we're going to keep rendering the buildings. Probably afterwards, we're going to improve it so that it's like, I don't know, maybe some red circle or a star. Yeah, star would be good. Here, it's like small shapes. because this is a much higher scale map. Our case will be much smaller, and of course we also need to add this, but these are very important details, the frame as well, um, that we're going to add at some point. And I'm also seeing here that we have some water, so maybe we're going to need a hybrid approach where we do use raster for the water. So we'll see what we do with that. For now, let's check how the forests look. We need some more work here because we need to actually initialize this with the forest stamp. So we're going to go to the display configuration. I'm going to add another icon for the forest icon. Forest icon. It's coming from the UE16 tileset, and it's the coordinate 1, 4. We're going to take a look at where we're using the Genko station icon because we are going to replicate the same for the forest icon. So it's coming here. It's also going to be loaded here. Forest icon. And then it's going to be an array probably because we don't want the same one everywhere. Probably going to select randomly from an array. And in here is where we are going to send the other texture. So we're going to send the Genko station icon and also the forest icon. And it's not working. The map panel needs to be updated to also receive the forest texture. And it's actually going to save it here. So there's some, how to call it, like repetitive work to be done here. But that's what game development is about. So it's here, and finally we send it here, station texture and the forest texture. We're going to save and then go to the game to make sure that nothing broke. If I find it, here it is. So it seems to be running all right. So let's check how these maps are generated. And I'm going to save the game here. So yeah, the generated maps or the textures that are generated are not saved. They are generated every time. So I mean, once for every gameplay session. So it's saved here, and we're going to look and look at that beauty. And really, I believe we're getting close to what we need, what we want. If you compare what we had before, um, let's see, where is this? If we compare what we had before, probably should have taken a screenshot or something. So this is the before thing, and this is what we have now. So already with the background and the transparent thing looks much more handmade, but of course there's just too many circles here. And we have a comment from Cosmic Menace. Cosmic Menace, he's so good at procedural generation, and we have done some work together some years ago with Ananias. So yeah, the less accurate a map is, the better it is for exploring. We are just working on this during the live stream. Live stream. Happy face. Okay, so there's this. Um, so let's throttle down that, and initially it can be super simple. We're just going to only render that um, circle, that icon with a random chance. So if there's no plan, continue. I'm going to leave it as a separate branch here. If RNG, no, random, yeah, random dot chance. So only a 10% of the plants will be drawn. So 90% of chance that it's not going to be drawn. And we are going to see how better it renders. So we're going to continue the game and we're going to examine the map. So you can already see that it is much lower density. So these are forests. Now, as I mentioned, let's like work iteratively in the different aspects, and we're going to need the raster again for the rivers. Um, we are also going to probably need, if we look at the reference that we have, uh, the big circles don't intersect. So we should probably um, check that the distance. Yeah, we'll find a way. We can also make it so that it's not transparent on the inside, but rather filled with this color, and that's probably cheating a little bit. So yeah, we'll see. Now let's do the rivers now. So we're going to go back to the raster and renderer, and we're going to copy this back. That's why I did not delete it completely, because I knew that we're going to need to come back to this. We're going to use this again. Um, let's see what's the best way to do this. I'm going to get the color cell in here as well, but I'm not going to do it directly. So I'm going to obtain what tile this is, and if the tile is water, then we do that. Or maybe we will pick another color that is similar to this reference. It's like a darker blue. Again, let's do the thing again where we get a little bit of the reference and then we put it here. It's in the middle, and I believe probably this one, maybe something darker, something more uh, less desaturated. This is almost this one. Yeah, I believe it's this one. So that's 6D 75 8D. 6D 75 of D. Else would return null. Null is not a number. -1. Let's see. -1 get color. We're going to do this. So if color is over 0, no, if it's under 0, then we continue. But if it's over 0, then we draw it. So with this, we should have water in our map. So there's the water. Just lakes for now. We need to also improve the procedural generation of the water bodies, because right now it's just lakes and the shape is very boring. So yeah, that's going to change at some point. The weird thing here is that we do have some plants over over the forest. That is very, very weird. Super weird. I wonder how accurate this is. Like, let's pick up the map. We are at this Genko station, and in the middle, that's the ruined Genko station. And if we walk to the west, there should be a lake. This is the lake, but it's rendering some vegetation on top of it. So I think the raster data is correct, and I don't think there's vegetation there. Probably there's something wrong with the positioning of the plants. Hmm, great. That is weird because we're using the same logic to place the stations, and I think the stations are pretty accurate. I mean, there's one to the north here. Hmm, that's interesting. Oh, right. We also need to render the mountains. And I don't think the reference that we picked had any mountains. I think the mountains here are represented by these triangles. But yeah, these are like chains of mountains probably. So a little bit different than what we have in the game. So we're probably going to need a different reference for the mountains. But yeah, I'm really confused about this get plant at x.y. If there's no plant, if there's a random chance. Oh, right. I know what's happening here. Yeah, we are getting the plant at the coordinates of the map, but the map's actually a fragment of the world. So we gotta just offset it a little bit using this bx and by. Yeah, that was the issue here. Okay, continue. I look at the map. Yeah, much better. You see now that the trees are away from the uh, water bodies. Let's go one step further. Because again, if we look at the reference, we do have like a smaller points making the forest. So the forests are like these big things, and then the um, small dots. And I am actually thinking on a better way that we could use instead of like doing this three what's the name of it? I forgot. Whatever, limiting the number of trees using this chance, we can still do some rastering and then do create some kind of pattern of things, right? Like we could go like left to right, top to bottom, and then say even combine that with the chance and then advance some fixed. Yeah, we could have like a grid. Hmm. Yeah, that could work. Let's try that before doing the variation here. So instead of doing this one by one, we're going to do it 5 by 5. That's the only change that we're going to do for now. And maybe we're going to throttle this down to 60. Yeah. see how that works. Continue. Take a look at the map. Some overlap, but yeah, it's much better. I'm going to increase this. I'm going to decrease this, and we probably need to add some random variation so that the grid is not that apparent. Yeah, much better. There's still some overlap. Um, no overlap now. No overlap, but yeah, it's super sparse. Remove this filtering. So even without the filtering, it's super sparse because we're just like randomly sampling the forest. And since we are doing this now in a 8x8 increments, then it's less likely to hit an actual tree. All right. Yeah, it doesn't look very dense. If we reduce this on 4x4 increments, we do have a lot of overlap. But I think we can prevent that overlap if we use the other variations. Actually, I believe the circle may be too big. I'm going to make it smaller as a first thing. That will reduce the overlap, but we will still have a volume of forest. Yeah, that looks better and also closer to the reference, I think. We're going to move them a little bit so that they are not that precisely located. All right, so let's add the variation. So the variation is going to be just like this one, but smaller, probably just a dot or something like that. Yeah, I think it's going to be just a little dot. Single pixel, maybe? That's a good question. Let's leave it something like this for now. We are going to go ahead and edit this so that the map renderer receives another stamp, small forest stamp, and we have to go all the way there to make it appear here. But before we do that, let's do something like what stamp we're going to use. So get stamp to use. It's going to be the small forest stamp normally. But if there's a chance of 25% that we use the big force stamp, and that's going to be it, then in here we create this sprite using the correct stamp. We need to move this a little bit, but we're going to see that in a moment. We need to break the grid there, but the problem with that is the danger of overlapping. So yeah, probably it's going to be reduced a lot with this. Now let's feed the smaller forest texture here. So small forest texture coming from here, but that doesn't exist. So we need to create it, a small forest texture. And we need to assign it here, forest texture and small forest texture, and it needs to come here. So yeah, it's just like going all the way up in the configuration. Small forest icon, small forest icon, small forest icon, the boring part. When we need to finally go to the config and add another one for the small forest icon. So it's 1-5. And that should be it. Let's see. All right, so it doesn't look like it. Oh, I did not save this change here. Okay. Hmm, did not work. Actually, okay, so I mislabeled the index here. It's 2, 4. Right. They're probably too big. They are probably too big. Um, Still, it's a good step. If we reduce the big ones to, and there's a lot of back and forth here, testing the values to see how it works. Map renderer, and we're going to reduce. We can do 2 passes. And again, let's take a look at the reference. The small dots. It's 3 by 3. So it's going to be more dense. And let's make this smaller. Oh, crap, what did I do there? Yeah. I think these are just too big. This gotta be just like a single dot. Something like a star. This cannot center because it's uneven. But anyways, we're going to move it a little bit. But it's better to have like a good point of reference. So this is 8 by 8, and we're going to place this one as well on 8 by 8. So just one to the left here. Okay. Let's see how it looks now. I like it. I like it. We're going to move them a little bit. So we're going to add some variation here where the actual position is going to be X. Actually, X. Okay. Plus random chance. So we're going to get a 50% chance of this being at the correct location, but if not, this is going to be 0 if that's the case, and if not, we're going to do an n from minus 1, minus 2 to 2. We're going to wrap this dx, and we do the same for the y position. And in here, we use px and py for the location of the icon. Yeah, save all. Great. As expected, there is some overlap, but not that much. And this is a pixel art version of this, so it's always going to look a little bit different. We can then add some variations for the forest to have like some that are squares or something like that. But for now, I think it looks pretty good. Now we have a problem, and it's that we are not displaying the mountains, and that's an important part of Emerald Woods. And we have another problem, and it's that in the reference that we had, the mountains are like mountain chains, and yeah, it's completely useless for us. So let's look at some other maps. Probably we're going to end up with some kind of stamp wilderness map. Covered wagon centennial. This is too high scale. Sometimes it's represented as a shadowed area. Then some other times it's like topography lines, which actually I was considering using as well. But yeah, that will be more complex. We'll need to first off do some kind of. We don't currently have a height map, so we will have to have that, and then we would have to do the contour algorithm or something like that. Yeah, what's this? This is some, and they are always represented as peaks, but not as blocks of mountains like the ones that we have in Emerald Woods. So it's difficult. It's difficult to find a reference. If we look at, let's say, natural reserve map, southeast, this is too high scale. This is 3D. I believe what we can do is like have an area with some pattern, but I don't find any reference of that. Yeah, sometimes looking for the correct reference is half of the work, or at least half of the chances to have decent results when you're doing procedural generation. So you gotta take your time. Mountains map. So yeah, you see these from Afghanistan. There's like this shadow pattern dithering in here. Yeah, but the advantage is that they have a height map. It's always some kind of topography, 3D shape. Um, then there's this kind of stuff that is like stamps. And in fantasy maps, it's easier because they're just like stamps. In here, this is interesting. This is a mining map. And this one has like these contours. You see, return to home page, don't bother me. Oh crap. Um, sorry. Interesting. So it's like some small lines, like representing some kind of elevation. This is a good reference. This is a good reference. It's pretty similar to what we want because these are like filled rock bodies similar to these. These are much bigger. So if you can imagine empty places in the map, but like the surroundings would be this kind of stuff. Let's see what Watabu has. Watabu capes. So this is kind of the negative. But you see, he also has this sort of patterns around and then blank area inside. Like I'm trying to imagine like this being the outside and then like a combination of this and then some stuff right at the outside of the mountain. That's one way. Because to do this one, there's some sense of direction towards the hill, right? That we currently don't have, so we will have to mimic that somehow. Um, Perilous Shores uses, what I was mentioning, stamps for the mountain ranges, smaller stamps for the hills. But yeah, this is more like the level of scale of this one is completely different. Or is it? If we imagine some stamps here of mountain, not here, here. Let's give it a go. Maybe it will work. We can try. We can always try. So let's do something very simple. I'm going to just take some of the Watabu's icons. We're going to copy it. This is just for a test. I swear I will replace it. Actually, we do need some replacements for a lot of stuff in Emerald Woods. So this is it. I'm actually going to use GIMP first. Where are the GIMP? Here. Here we are. Let's crop it. Image crop selection, and then let's downscale it to 16 by 16 pixels. So it's a pretty big downscaling. Now interpolation. So we will need interpolation. 16 by 16, 16 by 14 in this case, and let's use the no halo interpolation. Yes, we are not stealing a lot here, but because of the downscale, I don't feel that bad, only a little bit. Let's just mark the outline here. No, sorry, use the normal thing. So we're going to need to do this. using the ink color. And then here, I'm just going to leave some room here. And for this one, we will need variations because else it's going to look super bad probably. Um, let's try to do some dithering here. Let's leave it like this. Do some adjustments for the dithering to look better. I'm going to be cleaning up some stuff here and here and here. And I'm going to be here as well. Let's go back to normal mode. Clear. Right. Here as well. And here, here, here. I wish I knew how to swap from normal mode to clear mode in graphic scale. There's gotta be a shortcut that I'm just not aware of. So let's leave it like this. Let's clear the rest. We're probably going to need to do a little trap here, a little sheet here, and paint this part the color of the foreground, so that we have a depth effect. But we'll see that in a little bit. For now, let's not cheat. Let's be honest with the player. He's not going to notice anything, probably. But anyways, this is my version of a mountain stamp. And it looks pretty bad. But it's mine. Sort of. Kind of. Let's leave it like this. Oh, sorry. Anyways, it's just for a test. We probably can use a couple colors for the shade. Anyways, I'm going to leave it like this. We're just testing. We're not going to invest a lot of time on the pixel art if it's not going to end up anyways there. So from there to this, I'm going to just delete some pixels here and here. Okay, whatever. Save. And we need the additional texture, the additional stamp. So we're going to first put the logic here, pretend that we are already receiving the mountain stamp. And we're also going to sample this. So it's going to be similar to, it's like these two combined. So it's this. We're going to raster through. Actually, we can do it. We can probably do it here. Yeah. Let's do it here. So we're going to obtain the tile. From here. And again, we need to do bx plus x and by plus y. And if this tile is a mountain, How do we know if it's a mountain? Tiles.ts rock. Solid, opaque, dealable. Let's just check if it's solid. There's only two solid things. We're not going to deal. Let's check for solid and opaque. Oh, this is also opaque. Crap. We can mark it later. For now, let's just check for solid. So if the tile is solid, ooh, what? Okay, just solid. Then it's a mountain. We can also throttle it a little bit. Um, we will need to throttle it because we're rastering by a lot. So let's throttle this by 5%. And if we went through, sorry, 95 here, if we went through, then we are going to render this mountain stamp. Mountain stamp. And I move it a little bit, position there, render it. That should be it. And oh, we will continue here. Because there's some plants inside the mountains, and we don't want to render them as if they were forests. So yeah. Now we need to again make the mountain texture arrive to the renderer. We need to make it reach all the way down there. Mountain texture. In the meantime, let's have some background sound at least, so that you don't get bored watching this stream. Why is there no ambience? That's weird. Super weird. Sounds like a bug. Is it only on continue? I don't see any ambience. Bug. Any bug takes some time, I guess. All right. Mount an icon. Wherever we are putting the small forest icon, we are going to put the mountain icon as well. It's 3, 4, and let's double check that. Here, 3, 4. Where else? Mountain icon is here. Mountain icon is going to be here as well. And it's already here. Let's disable and let's see how it looks. No mountains. Something happened. Probably didn't save the game here. The file here. Still no mountains. Hmm. A small forest icon, mountain icon, UE16, 3, 4. Mountain icon is here. Mountain icon is here. Oh, what am I missing? Probably we are not saving this here, right? Okay. Small typo here. That was it probably. Hmm. It's not that bad. Not that bad. Probably with some work to prevent this overlap. And the sheet I was mentioning is, like taking what was the color that we used for the thing. I believe it was this one. And then filling this like this, including the dithering. And then flood filling this, saving. I like it. You see here, there's some artifacts because we are rendering rastering from top to bottom. If we were rastering from top to bottom, this will not happen. Let's see what the direction we're rastering here. So we're rastering from left to right and then top to bottom. I'm going to change that because it's not relevant for the others, but it's relevant for this one. So I'm going to change that so that we go this. We do this like left to right and then down. We were doing top to bottom and then right. So that should improve or reduce or remove these artifacts. I think it's great progress. Probably still a lot to improve, but already looking much better. But I believe, yeah, I'm going to post this. Let's generate some more. Um, let's go and create a new game. And let's see what map was generated here. This one doesn't have that much um, water, for instance. And we are again in the middle because this is intended to be the station number 3, which is ruined. You can see it here. So if we go a little bit down to the south, we're going to see some mountains. Yeah, I did not pick them up. So yeah, I like it. I like it. I'm going to post this on Twitter and see what people think. Probably we can cluster a little bit more. I'm going to lower this to 90 so we leave more mountains through. So it looks like more dense. And again, I mean, if we add more variety on the stencils, it's going to look even better. So I'm going to take a picture of this, copy image. I'm going to brag about this on Twitter. Let's scale this 2x. No. Scale. Copy. And then we have this. Um, I was wondering if I should continue posting on Twitter. Not sure, but there's a lot of people there, so I also post on Mastodon and Facebook for what it's worth. But yeah, Twitter still where a lot of people is, so gotta remain there for a while, I guess. All right, so results of the live of Slashie's midnight coding session number 5, I think. Let's see what number it is. Where is it? Where are my videos here? So the last one, oh, it's already gone. I don't remember. uh, Tonight we improved, or I improved, or just improved the rendering of the maps so that it looks a bit more organic. Quotes. And we're going to put the screenshot here, and then the comparison. For comparison, we're going to put the other which is already gone, I guess. Profile. And where is it? Here it is. Left to the right, the original one for comparison. Still whip. Okay. Subscribe. Subscribe to my Twitch if you want to see more of this. Or don't. I don't know what you want to do. But yeah, I believe that's it for today. We are a little bit over the 1 hour mark, but it was pretty productive. I like how it's shaping up. We really need the rivers. The water bodies are for now are also very precise, which is something we don't want. We want some level of imprecision here. But this doesn't have any lakes. Yeah, I will not know how to do that. Maybe doing some post-processing on the actual map data so that we are not working with the real representation of the map in memory, but with some kind of mirror that is a little bit distorted, and that can be used as a input to the entire map generation routine. Yeah, probably something like that that distorts especially the rivers and the lakes. But that will come later. Um, Thank you for watching this. Remember to subscribe if you want, and keep an eye out for Emerald Woods. You can get the current version at slash.itch.io/emerald-woods. Play with it. It's free for now. We're soon going to go into early access. I probably the day after we do the full release of Nova Mundi, we're going to go early access with Emerald Woods. But for now, you can play for free, so you can take advantage of that. And thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.